Got it.
Okay, Barbara, we're all rolling here. And you came into, if I remember right, you came into a workshop, a thyroid workshop. Is that right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. And so we're getting some good results with treatments. And just for people watching the video here, some of the things that you were troubled with or dealing with were kind of like temperature regulation, getting warm and things like that, and
Yes.
disturbance with sleep and headaches. You were having definite headaches.
Yes.
So
I had a lot of headaches.
So you go ahead and in your own words say how
Okay.
things have improved.
All right. I had terrible time sleeping. I would get up 2 or 3 times a night. And sometimes I'd go back to sleep within a half hour. Sometimes it'd take me 2 or 3 hours.
Yeah.
And then I'd get these headaches that would last a few hours to 2 to 3 days. I also would be real warm. I could not control staying cool, whether it was cold out or hot out.
Mm-hmm.
I also had trouble losing weight, no matter what I was on.
Mm-hmm.
I've had other doctors that tell me, oh, you're just sluggish or overweight, you gotta lose some weight, and I wasn't getting any of that done, no matter what I was trying or what I was eating or not eating.
Right.
So then I heard your program on the radio, and I said, well, maybe I should go there and find out what you have.
Mm-hmm.
So after having some tests and blood tests and your evaluation,
Yep, we did some lab work.
we did lab work, and then you got all the results back and you made an evaluation, and you put me on a slight different diet,
Mm-hmm.
not very different at all, but just slightly different. I have vitamins, I have therapy, I have minerals, and I have to say that within, I've been on it now almost 3 months, that I actually sleep most nights through the
Good.
night, and I'm not as hot as I was all the time.
Good.
If I do wake up once in a while in the middle of the night, I can fall back to sleep within a half hour or less.
Mm-hmm.
I've only had, and I can hardly even count it, maybe 2 headaches, and they only lasted like a couple hours,
Very
not
good.
this 3-day thing. I actually do feel good. I have more energy without really trying, except a slight alteration in my diet. I've actually lost 9 pounds without even trying, so I'm real happy with that.
Very good.
And I do have more energy. I have to admit that. I didn't think I would at first because I'm thinking, oh, this is going to take forever.
Yeah.
But in this short time, I do feel I have a lot more energy. And the weird thing is, I didn't realize how tired and sluggish I was until now,
Yeah.
that I feel better. And I think back at it and I'm thinking, I was really dragging for about 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
So to move this up this much in a couple months after suffering for 6 years is a long time. I mean, it's very quick. And so I think that I've got about another, I'm only about a third of the way through. So I am almost positive that if this keeps going, I'll have much more improvement. I really do.
We're glad you're feeling better.
Oh, thank you.
Very good. Okay, Joyce, we're recording, and you've been doing good with the treatments for thyroid, so you take it from there.
I've been coming to Dr. Beyer's office for about 2 months now, and I came in feeling very sick, very fatigued. I feel wonderful. I feel much better. I have a lot more energy. I have my appetite back. I'm much happier. Just follow everything that he says, and you should be doing wonderful. So thank you, Dr. Beyer, for all your help.
You're welcome. Thank you. Okay, Athenia, we're running here, and you've done well on the treatment program for thyroid problems, so you can go ahead and take it from there.
Okay, first I'd like to say my name is Athenia Deans. Hello. And I'm crazy about my doctor because the main reason is I had actually gone to a couple of doctors before and told them something was wrong with my thyroid. And they said it wasn't normal or it wasn't within range. And I myself knew something was wrong. I was losing hair, weight gain, cold feet, constipation. I had so many symptoms of thyroid problem. I came here in June, the middle of June, and started treatment. And when I came, I couldn't sleep. I would sleep 2 or 3 hours. I was up about 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. I was up for the rest of the day. So I was always tired. When I came here, since I came here, I now sleep all night. My weight went from 184, now I think I might be at about 170, 172. Just about all the symptoms have subsided. My hair, I can see that it's starting to thicken back up. The sleep, the problems with my train of thought.
That's okay. And just for those watching, we're like end of September is where we're at here. So we're doing good, yeah.
Right. So, like I said, especially the weight, I can see where the weight is. I'm coming down, and it's a gradual thing. I feel healthy. I feel more like myself. People around me are starting to notice the difference, and I'm just grateful to the doctor for being who he is and being a specialist. And I think more people need to know about this type of treatment, the alternative treatment to thyroid.
Very good. We're glad you're feeling better.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Dr. Steve Beyer. I'm a practicing chiropractor in Frankfort, Illinois. My chiropractic practice is quite a bit unique and different than most chiropractors. I specialize in the treatment of chronic conditions by doing functional medicine and functional neurology. I'm able to help people with different non-musculoskeletal conditions like thyroid problems, which is why you're watching this DVD. You got this DVD either because you saw my website and ordered it, or because you're the friend or a loved one of an existing patient of mine, and that patient grabbed the DVD out of my office and thought that you could benefit from it. And I mean this in all sincerity, that the next 40 minutes or so could be one of the most important 40-minute sessions you take or you've made in your life in a long time, because I'm going to share some information with you which could, if you act upon it, drastically change your life. Most people with thyroid conditions are just not getting the actual underlying problem managed. That's why I got into functional medicine after practicing for years and treating just musculoskeletal problems. I became frustrated with a lot of patients who had unresolved thyroid problems, as well as other chronic problems like irritable bowel syndrome and things like that. And so I began a very deep and earnest study of functional neurology and functional medicine. I've taken a lot of hundreds and hundreds of extra hours in graduate study in functional endocrinology, functional blood chemistry analysis, neurotransmitter assessing and balancing, and have taken a couple times very intensive Mastering the Thyroid course taught by Dr. Karazian. Dr. Karazian is the author of a book, Why Do I Still Have Thyroid Symptoms When My Lab Tests Are Normal? He's considered worldwide a noted authority on the natural treatment of thyroid conditions. And I'm going to cover with you today some information which is groundbreaking. It's based on the research over the last year and a half, and we're helping a lot of people manage their thyroid condition much more effectively and in a natural way because we're getting to the underlying cause or mechanism of dysfunction in the majority of cases. And that's what's happening, is that most people aren't. So please just focus in for the next 40 minutes. I'm going to cover a ton of information. I actually cover a little bit less than I do in the workshops. Workshops usually take about an hour, but you're going to get the vast majority of it. And what we're going to cover are four main areas. We're going to talk about thyroid basics. And in talking about the basics of thyroid, we're going to talk about what it controls, symptoms of a problem, and how things normally work. And then we're going to talk about thyroid dysfunction. Part number 2 is how the thyroid can dysfunction, and specifically how you can have that happen and you be told by a doctor that everything is normal. That's why Dr. Karazian entitled his book what he did. Why do I still have thyroid symptoms when my lab tests are normal? It's a common scenario for people, and it's very frustrating. And I'm going to explain, when we talk about thyroid dysfunction, how that could be, how you could actually have thyroid dysfunction, but your doctor tell you your lab tests are normal. And as we talk about thyroid dysfunction, I'll also talk about or explain to you and teach you the 7 main patterns of thyroid dysfunction. There's actually, believe it or not, 24 patterns or different ways the thyroid can dysfunction. We narrow it down in the DVD here today and in the workshops to 7 main patterns. Okay. Then part number 3 we're going to talk about is proper testing for a thyroid problem. what a comprehensive thyroid panel consists of, what other lab tests are necessary in order to tell if you have a thyroid problem, and why a neurological exam is necessary if you're having thyroid dysfunction or if you suspect that you are. And then the fourth thing we're going to talk about is the uniqueness of my approach, the uniqueness and the effectiveness of it. And when we talk about that, we'll talk about specific metabolic and immune corrections that we do as part of treatment protocols, and what brain-based therapy or functional neurology is. So 4 main parts, okay? Feel free to hit the pause button if you're a note taker and get a piece of paper and a pen. We're going to cover a lot of stuff. Guarantee you it's going to be the vast majority, if not all of it, brand new. But again, this is based on the last year, year and a half of research. One of the problems with the way the medical doctors approach thyroid conditions is that it's really about a 50-year-old model of approaching the condition. And so it's outdated, it's antiquated, it's not based on current research. Most doctors approach different conditions based on what we call consensus statements. Consensus statements are statements of authority from different organizations like the American Heart Association and so forth. But medical journal after medical journal has shown that consensus statements are a very poor way to base how you approach a condition on. It's very inaccurate, doesn't include or consider the most scientific research and so forth. So there's a lot of problems with the way doctors approach thyroid conditions, medical doctors, including endocrinologists. And we're going to just break some myths here and hopefully empower you with some information which, if you act on, can dramatically change your life. Look on my website if you haven't, of the testimonials of people that have gotten better with a natural, functional metabolic and functional neurological approach. So, thyroid basics. What does the thyroid control? The thyroid has its hand in everybody's cookie jar, okay? And you'll just have to excuse me if I get a little, that's just kind of how I am. I was born on the south side. I'm a meat potatoes kind of guy, and I'm just going to give you some straightforward language, okay? And the thyroid's got its hand in everything. Every cell in the body has a receptor for thyroid hormone. The thyroid has an effect on everything. It's not just metabolism and fat burning, and which is it's part of course. It kind of sets our thermostat, so to speak, but it affects bone metabolism, immune function, GI function, everything, because every cell in the body has a receptor, a little port for the thyroid hormone to attach to. And so when this little gland in the neck isn't working right, it really has a tremendous ripple effect, okay? Which is why when we talk about the different symptoms of a thyroid problem, they're really numerous. It's not just fatigue and weight gain, which of course can happen, but it can include GI disturbances like constipation, headaches, especially headaches that people tend to have in the morning and they wear off as the day goes on. Problems sleeping, interrupted sleep, problems falling asleep, numbness, tingling, coldness, the extremities, hands and feet especially. Poor immune function, people that catch colds, easily, hard to shake them. A lot of different symptoms, hair loss, hair thinning, eyebrows that thin out. See, the thyroid hormone affects every single cell in the body by producing proteins, a variety of different proteins, structural proteins, enzymatic proteins, and it goes into the cell, it goes into the DNA, or the nucleus of the cell, and causes the DNA to produce all these different proteins. So if the thyroid hormone isn't working right, it has a dramatic, like I said, ripple effect, and there's a variety of symptoms that a person can get. They don't have to have all the symptoms, but those are some of the more common ones. Now,